Hi everyone, I'm Jill from Living to Do His Will, and today you're going to see a sneak peek of an interview that I just did with Dr. Harris on the 5 pillars of health. If you would like to watch the entire interview, you're going to have to click over in the link in the description of this video to join the community, because that's where all of the interviews will now be hosted. I hope you have a great day, and I know you'll enjoy this video.
I am really excited that I get to talk to one of my favorite doctors and friends. This is Dr. Richard Harris, and I'm Jill from Living to Do His Will. And today we're going to talk about a topic that the two of us absolutely love, which is the 5 pillars of health, which is something that Richard has been talking about for years. But we're going to do a little twist on it today. We're going to talk about how it pertains to women 45 and older. I feel like this is a topic, Dr. Harris, that most people don't touch on when it comes to just one category, women. I feel like it's definitely ignored, especially when it comes to how does it play into diet, exercise, hormones, weight management, and just overall really boosting your immune health. So I'm going to let you really take over, and I'll come in and ask some questions as we go along.
Sure. I think this is something very important. I'm so glad that you're bringing attention to this, because mainstream medicine doesn't really represent women well.
I agree.
In fact, if you look at these clinical studies, let's look at statins, for instance, one of the most popular types of drugs. There's not good evidence that it actually works in women because women were heavily underrepresented in the studies.
Yes.
And then you look at the cholesterol targets themselves, there's evidence actually that for women, especially peri and postmenopausal, that you want a higher LDL, that it's actually protective. And so we can't treat men and women the same when it comes to health because we're biologically different, and there's different mechanisms that impact our health. Let's look at fasting, for instance, right? We're both big fans of intermittent fasting, but I can't tell a woman to fast the same as a man because the hormone profile is far more affected by prolonged fasting for women than it is for men.
Right.
So in women, if you do, like, I've dealt with some women will do like 20-hour fast windows, 4-hour fed windows, and I say that's crazy. Your hormones are going to crash because of something called kisspeptin. Kisspeptin is a hormone that is responsible for the release of sex hormones in women.
Right.
In men, our kisspeptin levels are not very influenced by fasting, but in women, they're dramatically influenced by fasting. So if you have a long fasting window, it's going to crash your estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone. And so we have to fine-tune our recommendations depending on the person that's in front of us. And so I typically don't recommend longer than 16-hour fasting windows for women. Most of the women, I actually recommend 12-12 fasting or eating when the sun is up.
I think for women over 45 really need to pay attention to what you're saying, because I think it affects us even at a different aspect, because our hormones start to go down. And once they start to shift, everything starts to affect us differently, and we're unable to regulate the same way we did when we were in our 20s and 30s, 40s even, early 40s.
Right. And so that's why you have to be careful with these things like fasting. It's a double-edged sword. Too much or improperly, it can be harmful, but the right amount can be widely beneficial. And this is one of the cool things. Fasting even hit the New England Journal of Medicine, what was it, 2 years ago? They did a review article on the benefits of fasting. Improve blood sugar, improve cholesterol, improve cognition, so you actually get smarter when you fast, improve memory, and this is independent of the calorie restriction because you hit autophagy, which is one of our favorite subjects, right?
Yes.
And you begin to heal your body. Your body won't heal itself in the fed state. In the fed state, your body grows. That's the signal. You get growth signals when there's food around. When there's not food around, the body says, okay, this is the time to do self-cleaning. It's like that spring inventory, right? Where you go through once a year and like, how did I accumulate all this junk? And then you throw the junk away. That's the same thing that your body does with fasting. And that's why it's a key pillar of our 5-pillar system is decreasing that fed window. And if you look at from an evolutionary perspective, why is this the case? Well, our ancestors only ate when the sun was up. They didn't eat at night. Why didn't you eat at night? Because if you lit a fire at night, number one, everybody knew where you were.
That's right.
Number two, what's active at night? Predators.
That's
right.
right.
If you're cooking something over the fire at night, you are setting yourself up for a world of hurt. Wolves and bears and coyotes and all that stuff would come. So we only ate when the sun was up, when those predators weren't active. And so from an evolutionary perspective, our body works best when we eat when our metabolism is the highest and it matches our circadian rhythm during the day. And that's why it's better to do some type of time-restricted eating or intermittent fasting.
It's interesting that you bring that up because I don't think most women realize how detrimental it is to fast as much as they're being told to do it, because they hear that everybody's doing it this way, but meanwhile it's really just men have been the guinea pigs basically and the subjects tested, and so many women are banging their heads against the wall because they can't manage their weight. They're doing all the fasting, they're doing all the calorie restriction, they're doing all these things, but they're not seeing the results that they want. They're still having thyroid issues. So let's just first define what your 5 pillars of health are, and then we're going to break them down.
Yeah, you got to jump ahead there. But yeah, the 5 pillars revolve around nutrition, exercise. Those are the 2 most important things. I always say nutrition is the king of wellness, exercise is the king. And then there's stress management, which is widely important, especially in this current climate that we're in. There's sleep, which is also very neglected, and then there's fasting. So those are really the 5 behaviors that are, I think, the most important. And then the course goes into other things like energy medicine, which we're both big fans of energy medicine, and then toxin avoidance, which is another big topic.
Huge.
I really should have called it the 6 pillars, but 5 is just a better number for people to wrap their head around, right? We like those multiples of 3 and 5.
That's right.
Whatever.